What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we're here tonight with a new review for The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 11, Episode number 11. The episode was titled Ice Queen of the Desert. Alright, you guys. Now, before we get into this review, if you guys are watching this one or any other video on the channel and not yet subscribed to the channel, then what are we doing? Why are we still going out on a date and I'm paying for the date? Do me a big favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell button. Hit all the buttons on the channel like dim who's up. Alright, you guys. So with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and just get right into this review, shall we? Interesting episode. Alright, you guys. So it's the next morning. That house, disgusting. I mean, you see all the plates and you see plates sitting outside. You see plates sitting in the the sink and shit. You just see shit everywhere. It's just like, damn. Did y'all not? Okay, never mind. I'm just not even gonna go there, right? So after they get their breakfast, I'm like, I hope that, Kyle's like, well, someone's gonna come and clean it up. I'm like, dang, you're that rich that you have people coming to clean up behind you. Man, I wish I was at that level, right? So they're sitting down, getting ready to eat, right? And then there's an alert that comes across the phone that Tom was hospitalized, right? So they're trying to figure out if Tom is in the hospital or if Tom was in the hospital. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. Don't care. Because for me, I just feel like this is a ploy, right? I'm gonna tell you guys why I think it's a ploy. I think it's a ploy from his lawyers, right? So, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more, right? I think this is a part of the legal defense that, oh my God, Tom is this, elderly old man. He's going through dementia, maybe senile, stuff like that. So, yeah. So then Erica comes and joins the ladies, right? And they ask her, how did you sleep, Erica? She's like, oh, I didn't sleep that well. I'm like, oh, okay, Erica, you're still acting. And at this point, it's not that good, sis. It's just really not that good. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Erica. It's not that good, right? So then what they're gonna do for the day is some of the ladies are gonna go bike riding and some of the ladies are gonna stay there. So the ladies that are staying there is gonna be Erica because Erica didn't sleep well. It's gonna be Erica, it's gonna be Sutton, and it's going to be Kathy. So you have Dorit, you have Brenna, you have Kyle, and you have Crystal. They're going bike riding, right? So, Kathy said, I didn't even sleep well last night because, Kyle had it so hot here. It was 76 degrees. I was like, ooh, 76 degrees in the house. I could not sleep like that, period. I cannot sleep in a hot house. I don't care if it's during the winter, I can't sleep in a hot house. Like, I have to have some kind of air, right? Like, for me, my mom used to always complain about the way I sleep at night. She used to always complain about it. Because what I do is, it's summer, winter, it's all year round, right? So I'll have a ceiling fan going over me. I'll have I used to have a box fan that I have at the foot of my bed. I would have the vent would be closed because in my room when I lived with my mom, the vent was right above my head. So I closed that vent all winter long. So it's the box fan, it's the ceiling fan, and it is the window. I let the window up. She's like, how do you sleep like that? I'm like, easy. And then she was like, what do you do when you get cold? I said, if I get really, really cold, I'll go and close that window. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna close the window, but the box fan and the ceiling fan, they stand on. They're not going off at all. So, Kathy, so while the other ladies, they stop to get something to drink, right? So Kathy calls, do you have a straw, Kyle? She's like, no, Kathy, I don't have a straw. But can you get a straw? And some chia seeds. I'm like, well, come on, Kathy. Y'all, speaking of which, y'all, I'm gonna keep it with you guys. I've been working out for the last few days. So I have a little bit of a cramp in my leg. So you guys might see me moving a lot. That's because I just caught a cramp in my leg. So then they talk about Erica, and I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. What Erica said not last week, but the week before last, those are bullshit lies, right? Like, here's the thing with me with Erica that I can't rationalize, right? So Erica is saying that Tom was cheating on her, right? Okay, that's not uncommon for any man to cheat on a woman, right? That's not uncommon. But the thing that gets me is the fact that Tom was cheating on her, but Tom also has either he has early onset dementia or Alzheimer's. If he is going through dementia or Alzheimer's, how the hell is he cheating on you? Please tell me that. Because someone that's going through dementia or Alzheimer's, their mind is going away. So you mean to tell me Tom is going through dementia and Alzheimer's, but he has enough, he knows enough up here to keep his hoes together. Make this shit make sense. Like I just don't believe it. I'm sorry. Love me some Erica, but just don't believe it. So then they're talking about the fact that Erica is protecting Tom, but Tom is not protecting Erica. Are y'all sure that Erica is protecting Tom? Because if that's what you call protecting, I wouldn't want it, right? I wouldn't want that type of protection what Erica is doing, because Erica is making Tom look like the big bad wolf. But okay, if y'all don't want to go for it, who am I to say boo? But we're gonna move on. All right, you guys. So this episode, we pretty much spent it talking about Tom. Like this was the Tom show, basically, right? So they're discussing Tom. So we talk about the fact that Tom and Erica have a house. Well, actually, not Erica and Tom. Tom has a house near where Kyle's house is in La Quinta, right? But the thing is, Erica has never been to it. Erica doesn't know anything about the damn house, what street it's on, anything. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, okay, I don't know what angle she's playing, but hey, I'm right along with you, right? So then Kathy was like, well, hey, why don't you say, I travel the world so much, and I just really thought about it that, hey, I have a house in La Quinta. Now, I forgot where it is. You know what though? Strangely enough, for there to be Beverly Hills and for the people be rich people in Beverly Hills and stuff like that, they actually probably would buy that shit. They would probably buy that, right? So then they talk about Tom and Erica, and she says, she doesn't, they're talking about Tom to Erica about him going to the hospital, being hospitalized, right? And she says she doesn't know what it is or where it came from. This one, I'm going to give Erica a little bit of, can I? Do I believe Erica? So that's the hard thing with this stuff that's going on currently, right? It's the situation of, do you believe Erica or do you not? Like, do I believe Erica knew anything about Tom going to the hospital? It's hard to know because we'll talk about what she said later in the episode, right? We'll talk about that once we get to it. But it's just hard to know what's what with Erica. And I feel like, this same shit that's going on with Erica, I thought it's going to be the same shit we deal with when it comes to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City with Jen. I really feel like we're going to be going through the same, I didn't know this, I didn't know that, da-da-da-da-da. Well, actually, I don't know how Jen can say that shit because Jen and Stu are the masterminds, unless Jen tries to place all the blame on Stu, which I don't put it past that wicked witch. But we're not talking about her. So then we see the ladies, they all go out and play croquet, and none of them know what they're doing. So then they talk about Garcelle. So Garcelle is getting ready to come, and they ask, Kyle tells them that Garcelle's not staying at the house. And, it could be because of her or Renna, who knows? Or it could be because some of you had COVID and she doesn't want to be around that. Ever think about that? But wait, whatever. So then, Kyle asks how are Garcelle and Renna at this point. Renna says that they're good. I mean, I guess they're okay. Damn it, there go that cramp again. She's okay that they know of. Whatever. Moving on. All right, you guys. Next up, let's talk about Erica. Where'd I go with Erica? Like I said, with Erica, she says a lot of shit, And when you listen to this shit, you don't believe half of the shit that she's saying. Right. So I guess Erica is now, downsizing with her glam squad and everything. So then Erica tells these people, I was like, girl, a lie don't care who tell it, right? So Erica goes and tells them that, she just went into the bank for the first time, never knew what she was doing. She never had a debit card. I was like, huh? You ain't been in the bank. You've never been in the bank. You didn't have a debit card. What the hell did you do before you married Tom? Because you ain't always had money. What the did you do? Okay. How old is Erica? How old is Erica, right? Erica's like in what, her late, is she in her mid to late 40s? Okay. But I'm just finding it hard to believe that she's never been in a bank or had a credit card, a debit card. Because debit cards came out, what, like in the 90s? The late 90s? The late 90s, right? Late 90s going into the 2000s. So I'm gonna give it to her. Maybe she's never had a debit card. I'm going to give her that. But girl, you cannot make me believe that you had never been in a bank and made a deposit. So were you keeping your money under a sock the entire time before you got with Tom? Like, were you keeping it in a sock? Were you keeping it in a safety deposit box? Like, where were you keeping your money at, girl? Miss me with the bullshit. So then they found out that Tom allegedly sold the house that they were talking about in 2018. So then they talk about, she said, well, he sold it and I didn't know anything about it, right? I don't want to get into that because they talk about the forensic team, but I was thinking to myself, even if he sold the house, when they have to prove that he had the house before they got married, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So then next let's talk about, so we see Erica, we see Crystal and Garcelle, so they go hiking, right? So Garcelle is talking about her mom, because they're looking at they're looking at the wildlife out there, right? So she was talking about her mom, she was talking about how, she's the youngest of 7 siblings, they all live in Miami currently, right? So then they start talking to Erica and they ask her about this hearing that's in Chicago, and she says she knows nothing about it, but she's pretty sure she'll hear something soon from her lawyers, right? So then Garcelle wants to know about the finances. I'm like, at least somebody's asking these hard questions. These other women just pacifying her and just like, oh, Erica, it's okay. You didn't know anything. I don't think Erica knew 100% what Tom was doing, but I don't think Erica was as in the dark as she would like us to believe, right? So Garcelle asked her, did you get an allowance? She says, no, I didn't get an allowance. She says that Tom would give her money. I believe that part. I really do believe that Tom would give her money. And she said everything else was on credit cards. I'm like, damn. Credit cards, how many you got? So then Garcelle asked her, so with all these lawsuits that have popped up, right? Was that anything, was that any reason that you filed for divorce from Tom? Erica says, no, this was a long time coming, saying, his personality changed because of the head injury. You guys remember that dumbass story from the last episode where she was talking about he went off a cliff. He was unconscious for 12 hours. He called her, but she found him. Okay, Erica. Okay. So I'm going to deviate from my notes just a little bit, right? So, not just yet. I'm not going to deviate from my notes just yet. So, kind of, sort of, right? So, the whole thing is this brain trauma that he has allegedly is this supposed to be like a defense for him, that he, I don't know, we can definitely deviate from my notes right here. So this brain trauma that he has, right? So I have an issue with this for so many reasons. Right? If Tom had such a brain trauma and he didn't know what he was doing when he was practicing for the victims, his victims, the plane crash victims, the woman who had the botched plastic surgery, the boy who's home who got caught in that house, the fire, the houses that were on fire, the boy who, the woman whose son died on a motorcycle. Yes, I watched the entire documentary. So, if he had this traumatic brain injury, Erica and his colleagues, more specifically his colleagues, right? But even Erica, you're his wife. You're his wife, right? Like, you could have went to, if you know that he had this brain trauma and he's not in the right state of mind and he's not doing things that he normally would have done, wouldn't you have then tried to get power of attorney over him and then thus stop him from practicing? And his partners, like I have his partners, if you guys knew that he had this traumatic brain injury, you still allow him to practice the law. But even still, let's just say he had that. He obviously knew right from wrong, because you took money from you took these people's settlement money. This is a ploy to say that this is a ploy to get him out of this shit, basically. And it's bullshit. If you ask me, it's bullshit, right? Like, I just think it's bullshit. So he wasn't in his right mind. He has a brain injury. He's going through dementia. He has Alzheimer's. But he had enough sense to steal money from people. He had enough sense to know to steal money from people and put it into his wife's career. Allegedly. Loosely allegedly, but allegedly. Like, miss me with that shit. But then here's my issue with Erica. Like I said, you as his wife, if you knew all this stuff, hello, power of attorney. I know that's why not say something to his damn kids? But here's my other thing. If things were building up, the dementia, the Alzheimer's, if that was building up, why would you leave? Why would you leave at this point, right? Like, your wedding vows, through sickness and health. And then, like I said, with Alzheimer's and dementia, not to be mean or rude or anything, but if he has Alzheimer's or dementia, he's not going to last much longer. Really. That Alzheimer's and dementia is going to eventually be the reason he goes up yonder or down south, wherever one he goes. But at this point, I'm more inclined to believe he is going down south. Just being real. But that's my whole thing with Erica. You leave him at this point, right, where he's going through dementia and Alzheimer's. Now, I get it. Nobody wants to be someone's punching bag when they are going through Alzheimer's and dementia. No one wants to be that person's punching bag. But if it's that bad, you could declare him unfit. Seriously, you could declare him unfit and take. Now, I don't know too much about the law, but I'm pretty positive you could declare the man unfit to take care of himself. So then Erica also lets it be known that Tom calls her every day. I'm like, oh. See, I just have a lot. Like I said, it's just a lot with Erica. I want to be on Erica's side. I want to believe Erica, but then she says shit that I'm just like, girl, I cannot rock with that. I cannot defend that, and I'm not going to try to. Unlike the other ladies who are eating everything up, just eating everything that Erica spoon feeds to them, shit and all. It's bullshit. Bullshit. But let's move on. Like, I just think it's bullshit, but we're moving on. All right, you guys. So, oh yeah. So I'm gonna bring this back up. Like, how in the hell did this go? So when Erica and Garcelle and Crystal they were out hiking, the other ladies they went shopping like they always do on Beverly Hills. So then Nikki calls her mom, and they have to. And, Kyle says, "Nikki, look at what your mom got on." I really didn't see anything wrong with what Kathy had on. Did you guys see anything wrong with what Kathy had on? Let me know in the comment section below. So then after they've done everything, so like I said, the ladies went shopping. Garcelle and Crystal and Erica went hiking. So they're back at the house, right? Did I miss the dinner? Child, I think I missed the dinner that they had. I sure did. I completely looked over that, right? I completely looked over that. My bad, you guys. So let's talk about that real quick. So Garcelle, when she showed up to the house, she showed up in a hazmat suit, asking where are these COVID bitches at. So before they went to dinner, she went to go see Crystal, asking how things went, and Crystal says it's going well, but she tells her about all the bullshit lies that Erica had told them. Now, Garcelle couldn't believe the fact that Tom was cheating because it said a month prior that she and Erica had a conversation about Tom, and she never even mentioned the fact that she asked her if there were other people, right? And Erica said, well, not to my knowledge. But see, that's my thing with Erica. Not to your knowledge, at that point, he wasn't cheating. But then when you told that dumbass story in the last episode, he was cheating on you. But he also has dementia, or he either has dementia or Alzheimer's. How does he have dementia or Alzheimer's, but he's cheating on you? The man wouldn't even remember his name half the time. I'm not going there, right? So then, now let's get back to the end of the episode. So, all the ladies are back at the house, right? So, Erica tells the ladies, depending on what the news is that she gets from this court case, this court date that they have in Chicago, she may have to go home early, right? So then Garcelle says, well, is it okay if I share with the ladies what you and I discussed? And she tells them that, well, Tom calls Erica. And then Erica got like really, really defensive, right? She got so defensive and went off on Garcelle. You have your moment, babe. Really, Erica? Crystal, I like you. I really do like you, Crystal. But explain this to me, right? Please explain this to me. So you said that you and Erica had a conversation where Erica told you when you guys got back, that she didn't want to discuss that. Why didn't she say that in front of you and Garcelle, that she doesn't want to discuss it when you guys got back around the other ladies? It's a little fishy for me, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense that when you and her and Garcelle are in a scene together, you guys are hiking together, but she just tells you that she doesn't want to talk about it. And then you tell Garcelle, yeah, Garcelle, I know if you had heard what she said, that you wouldn't have said anything. Garcelle said, no, I wouldn't have. But here's my other thing with Erica, right? Erica's so upset about the fact that Garcelle told the ladies that Tom called her. And she's like, that was a very private moment. It was a private moment that you had in front of a fucking camera. Like, once again, you guys, like, I like Erica. I really do like Erica. Erica was, when she came on the show, she was my favorite. I know people didn't like her when she came on, but I did. I enjoyed Erica. But I gotta put that aside, the fact that I was a fan of Erica's. I have to put that aside, right? I have to put that aside and just call it for what it is. This is blatant bullshit. Like, nothing about this situation makes any sense to me. Like, I can't rationalize any of this because I just really believe at this point, excuse me for spitting, I just believe at this point that Erica is just spinning a web of lies. That's just my interpretation. That's what I feel. I can't, because at this point I can't tell you what's the truth and what's not the truth because she says so much. And the reason why I say I can't tell you what's what is because certain things just contradict other. Like, she says one thing, but then she says another thing, and they just contradict each other. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that she said that to Garcelle, that she didn't know Tom was cheating on her, but then you tell the ladies he was cheating on you, and then that damn story that you told that he went off the cliff, he was ejected from the car. You do know that most times when people are ejected from a car, they die on impact, right? That's velocity. Child, I ain't even got time for it, but whatever. Let me know what you guys thought about it, please. Please, just somebody tell me that I'm not crazy. Somebody tell me that I'm not crazy, which I know I'm not crazy, but it just doesn't none of this makes sense. Like, I'm not, once again, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, Erica knew full well what Tom was doing. Erica was right beside Tom when he was taking the money from them people. I'm not saying that. I don't believe that. You can't pay me to believe that she knew 100% what he was doing, but you also can't pay me to believe that she didn't have any inclinations about what he was doing. You feel what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. But you guys leave it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell button so you guys are aware when I drop anything else, and share the video. Until the next one, stay safe, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Remember, wash your hands, wear a mask or not. Whichever one you do, be safe in doing so. Be blessed. Protect your energies. I'm taking it from my girl Eric. Protect your energy, you guys. That is important, you guys. Please protect your energy and stay safe and be blessed. And I'll catch you guys in a few minutes for Sisters and the Encore.